right, I'm switching those on.
Oh.
There we go. I'll see. Did I hook up the soundboard?
Game 1.
Ooh, sounded echoey.
That
Ooh,
only came
echoey.
out of one ear on my end. What was that about?
That sounded like double on my end.
Oh, I see what I did. Disconnect that. I actually connected one of the output ports to the wrong thing. Here we go.
Game 1.
That should be better.
There it is.
Yeah.
Old Lady Mono.
All right. So yeah, who? Oh, I should change our background. I always forget to do that.
Yeah, what's a good one tonight? Pick a good background, John.
I never do. You know that.
You picked a fucking Sonic one when Sonic Mania was in
Yeah.
March Madness. You know, clearly you know to pick a good one.
Clearly. Can they
That's
see
not
us
even-
yet?
Yeah, they can see and hear us as I go through and try to figure out a background here. Final Fantasy takes place in the past, right? There we go. Final
Sometimes.
That's the. I mean, we're gonna get into that.
Fantasy.
One, doesn't seem to take place in our existence, and two, a lot of it has futuristic technology.
Oh, that background.
God, I
is
hope
way
somebody
too-
picks like a dystopian game where it's one of those like, actually, this is the distant future. It just looks like the past.
I'll be honest. If Jesse didn't pick a Star Wars game tonight, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed.
Oh, fuck. Really? Oh, man. I'm sorry, John.
Where do they all take place, man? Right up front. What's the text?
I know. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Which, yeah, that's,
Home run. It's even more important than Star Wars. They put it up before the title. The important thing is that we're witnessing history.
yeah.
Johnny, I'm re-uploading new files. I'm not actually going to do that.
You had me for a second there. It's like, you son of a bitch. I just downloaded them. Oh, he's making a joke.
It make joke.
All right. Let's see. Who's ready to start the show?
Me.
Oh shit! Hang on, let me pull up my audio recording.
John,
David,
probably
please,
help.
please export to FLAC or WAVE this week, not MP3.
Oh, okay.
Just saying, man. I don't like the compression.
I thought I had. I apologize.
It's okay. You regressed.
I have failed you yet again.
No, Yes, David. Fine, call it what it is. I'm Megatron, you're Starscream. Just how it's gonna be on this show.
God, I don't think I can do that voice.
Don't. I am not asking
Like-
for that.
I could try, but it would hurt within like 30 seconds.
sister sucks instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Do you guys want to hear my Starscream impression?
Please.
No.
Oh, I'm Starscream.
Yeah. I'm a plane. Octobots.
He has that,
You know,
like scratchy, loud, pitched voice, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, he does.
It's humanly impossible to do that.
yeah,
voice.
my throat hurts after that.
Yeah. It's miserable.
Imagine doing that as a job. Jeez. Whoever has this plays Starscream needs like a medal or something.
Mm-hmm.
We should get him on the show.
I
Yeah.
believe he's
Charlie Adler.
dead.
That hasn't stopped us before, David.
I think
We've had plenty of dead people on the show.
I don't think Charlie Adler is dead.
Well, he will be after
No, but I think the
GTT.
original voice from the 80s
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, everybody
has since passed.
Yeah. Scatman Crothers, gone.
Okay,
can't
I
think of anyone
apologize.
else.
Orson Welles.
Yeah. Super
Unicron.
famously dead.
That's
Peter
the guy
Cullen?
he was the planet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, making sure. Sometimes I get him mixed up with the
H.G.
Godfather.
Marlon Brando.
Yeah, sometimes I get them mixed up. I don't know why.
God, I would love it if Marlon Brando played Unicron.
Dude, I do the same thing. I would love to see Orson Welles scream Stella.
but only if it's like late Orson Welles when he's
Yeah.
fat with the giant beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny, we can start the show anytime, man.
All right. So
We're
John's
waiting on
ready.
you.
David's
I'm
David-
sorry,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
sorry,
ready now.
yeah, shit,
David's
that was
ready.
not good.
Jesse, I assume you're ready.
Whew.
Very.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Fast count.
Welcome to Game That
5, 4, 3,
Tune.
2, 1, go. Oh, yeah. What is going on, everybody? It's Game That Tune back in the house once again. It's your boy, John Harrington here. We got John Regan with us. Say hey.
Hey.
We got Jesse Morris. Say hey.
Hey.
And we've got the king of the show, David Fleming. Say hey.
Hey.
Hell yeah, guys. Welcome back. Game That Tune in the house. Episode 330. Man, oh man, what an episode it's going to be, guys. We are going to do some great things on tonight's show, starting first and foremost with listening to video game music. And then what we're going to do is try and guess each other's games based on the songs that we've chosen, a little bit of trivia. We're going to goof off and we're going to have a lot of fun. The winner at the end of the night picks the theme for the next episode and plays a bonus tune. And our winner last week, it was me, baby. And man, I was quick on my feet with a theme that tied into my game last week, which, I really got to stop doing that. I got to stop picking a theme based on a game that I just chose for the show, because then I, immediately am down one potential game for this week's show. I chose the theme of games set in the past. So games taking place in a time prior to this very moment. Games taking place prior to the time at which they were released. If a game takes place in the future, it is not valid for tonight's show. If a game takes place in what was meant to be the present day of the time at which it was released, that time has now passed. It could be valid for tonight's show. It's a pretty open theme, guys.
So, just real quick, say a game is okay, let's pretend a game was made in 1989 for the NES,
Yes.
right? And on the thing it says in the distant future of 2010.
Right. We actually did talk about this last week. That is the
Okay.
future to that game, therefore
Okay.
not valid for the show. David asked specifically, what about Street Fighter 2010?
Oh, that's right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not valid. Mega Man games, not valid.
But what about when it gets because Mega Man X is in 20XX,
Yeah.
so that could be valid. Well, no, that's the future. Never mind.
It could be the past 20 years. It could be any time until the year 2100. Who could say? But it's also the future based on the fact that the Mega Man X series started in 1993. Games that take place in the past. Fantasy settings, pretty acceptable. Final Fantasy settings, largely unacceptable, just based on the number of airships and the fact that I don't know that.
Well, that's steampunk,
I
which
don't
is
know
an alternate Victorian history.
but it's also Final Fantasy, and I can't tell where or when any of them take place. So better safe than sorry. Just tipping my hand. I didn't pick a Final Fantasy.
I mean, we've used most of the Final Fantasies, so
Exactly. So, high fantasy, pretty
yeah.
yeah, Your Highness, that Danny McBride movie, totally acceptable.
I
Except
can't
it's
wait
not a video game
Yet.
and it's really bad. But yeah, so we're gonna take a look back at the past. Games with a little bit of history. It's gonna be a fun show, I think. It's like I said, plenty of options to choose from. Johnny, you're the I'd like you to speak with some of your expertise on this. When do Sonic games take place?
Sonic games, I think, take place outside of our own construct of time.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't think they take place in the past or future or present so much as they take place in the past, future, and present.
Right.
Except
Okay,
Sonic CD
Yes.
does have a time traveling mechanic, so I guess it's Sonic CD.
Sonic CD, not valid for any of it. Yeah, Sonic's got its own timeline. It's really kind of a Sonic timeline. That is to say, it's shaped like the word Sonic the Hedgehog, written in fancy cursive. Cool. Okay, so yeah, we'll see if Johnny picked a Sonic game. Yeah, there was that one with the fantasy setting that David definitely used like 300 episodes ago. But maybe there's another one that takes place in the the Earth past that I'm not aware of. Like those movies, the Sonic movies. They haven't made Sonic the movie the game yet. So
No.
I think
Okay.
that's just Sonic 2006.
Oh God, that's technically the past.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
would
I
that
don't
be
know.
the Sonic Boom games?
I don't know. Nor do
No,
I care.
'cause Sonic Boom, that's the Sonic that has like the handkerchief and
Yeah.
and the hammer and stuff.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
In
I
the
just know
future,
that
everybody
Sonic
wears
Boom was like an
extra
animated
handkerchiefs.
show and then games as well.
I came very close to trying to work the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog into this theme, but I could not justify it.
Good. I'm glad to know that. We'll get to it eventually, but not tonight, baby.
Games
Tonight,
where Sonic gets murdered.
I mean, I'm in favor of it. Murder mystery games.
Yeah.
It's a forthcoming theme, just so Johnny can use that.
It's an awesome
But-
game, actually.
Thank God we don't have to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about. We'll see what kind of games we're going to talk about. So, Johnny, let's do it, man.
Game 1.
All right, guys. So in this game, you can unlock 12 different ships, ranging from the small pinnace or pinnace, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, to the large ship of the line.
nice.
Yeah, really puts you in a certain setting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody,
I mean, it could be any time.
everybody, whip out your pen ace, and we'll see those answers. Oh man, Johnny says Sea of Thieves, sadly incorrect. Jesse says the 100 Years War 64, also sadly incorrect. And David, somewhat shockingly, has the correct answer. This is Port Royale. Of course,
Is
here in
that
America,
Surprisingly few games have pin aces in them.
yes.
Is that with cheese, David?
Well, I was going to say, so here in America, we called it Port Quarter Pounder. But yeah, it was developed in Germany and released under the name Port Royale. And yeah, it is a not completely pirate themed, but a sailing themed adventure game released for PCs in 2003, I believe.
Ah, yes, those famous seafaring pirates, the Germans.
Yes. Oh man, you encounter so many Germans in this game. It's
Actually, oh, you know what they should make? And I apologize for derailing us immediately, but it would be cool if there was like a ship action game that pulled boats from throughout history. So you had like German U-boats fighting Spanish galleons. I'd play that.
Yeah, okay, like a ship time travel battle game. Yeah. It seems like the futuristic ships would have a distinct advantage. I'm just saying. It seems like submarines win all the things against pirate ships. What do we do?
Okay,
Do we shoot them with our
there may
cannons?
be a
I don't know,
fatal
man. I
flaw
can't
in
even-
this game.
Yeah.
Do they
Can't see
shoot,
shit.
they're shooting cannonballs in the water like while they're getting torpedoed. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Captain, this is hopeless. But yeah, so no, this is Port Royale, not a Pirates of the Caribbean game, but a game that features pirates and takes place around the Caribbean. You get to create your little character and sail around in a ship and stop at different ports in the various places around the Caribbean, the upper coast of South America, Venezuela and whatnot, Cuba, Dominican Republic, little stops in Mexico. I didn't get to a point in any of the videos I was watching to see if you actually get to stop in Florida, but it's constantly just hanging there on the map. Like, it just laid itself down on the map.
It's like any pennies.
Exactly. Florida, the big dangling pin ace of the map of the Caribbean. But yeah, so it's like a what's the name for a fucking like a SimCity type game, like a building settlements game?
a simulation game?
Sim?
Yeah.
Yeah, sim
So
game.
there's degrees of a sim game and an exploration game to it. You go around to different ports and you do trading with the various people. You can take on jobs from the people. The jobs involve, going to somewhere and trading with somebody else or trying to stop a group of pirates that have been attacking their settlements or,
So is this just escape velocity in the 1600s?
I don't remember really what escape velocity is.
David, that's a deep cut. Oh, is
You
this
talk-
a game that's only released for classic Macs, but in the 1600s?
Well, no, I just remember like playing Escape Velocity. You're supposed to like be in space and shuttling cargo from planet to planet and like running missions and everything. I was like, is this just Escape Velocity but with pirates?
I don't think so.
I can answer that, and the answer is, David, they both had pirates. So the answer is no, it's not just escape velocity, but with pirates. It is escape velocity on water instead of space, though.
Was escape
Okay,
velocity?
cool.
It's like,
Like,
Waterworld.
Well, but there is land.
Is there?
Yes, throughout
Oh,
this
okay.
game, you stop at various lands. Numerous lands, in fact.
Let's double check.
Cuba, Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, all
Yes.
famously lands.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no. I don't remember if escape velocity is something that involves you just moving around a map and stopping to talk to various people in their settlements and trading with them.
Yep.
Why did it have the name Escape Velocity? It sounds like it should be a flying game. Or like a
There's-
rocket.
Well, I mean, it is a flying game. You're flying in space.
Yeah, and you do get into battles, and you have to fight off pirates and things like that. It sounds like there is a lot of similarities here in terms of like the overall concepts. But nobody, David, you and I are the only fucking people on the planet that play Escape Velocity.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. David scrambled my fucking brain with that reference. I don't know, yeah.
I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to derail the show.
Yeah.
Is
so,
it anything like Star Control 2?
Probably. Yeah, you want to explain what that
How
game is?
similar
I'll
is
tell you
it
how
to
it's
Sid
similar.
Meier's Pirates?
Well, it is a very similar
was-
game to Sid Meier's Pirates.
That one's closer.
Yeah, really a much better question. How similar is it to Sid Meier's Pirates? It's fucking really similar.
It's the
to
same
Sid Meier's
game.
Pirates, except you don't always play as a pirate. You play as
Sid Meier.
somebody who will take on jobs and do things besides pirating. Maybe you're a trader. Maybe you're bringing things to help establish and settle new lands. Maybe you are fucking a pirate.
You're fucking a pirate, hey?
I'm in
Yeah,
favor of this.
I'm trying to think of the word they used for one of the jobs. It's like taking on private military contracts. You're fucking not a mercenary. I think they said you're a privateer.
Privateer.
A buccaneer.
Yes. Yes, a cuccaneer. But you can do all that and more. It's a game in which you sail around to different settlements. You get into conversations with the characters and find out what they want. It's very fun and dated. Like I like when you're having a conversation with a non-player character, and usually I've gotten used to like a nice anime portrait of a character talking to you. It doesn't really move. It maybe changes based on the context, that kind of thing. This was the early 2000s. So all the portraits of the characters you talk to are rendered in terrible CG. And they all seem to do the same motion whenever you start talking to them and then advance the conversation. So like you're talking to like the friar or the priest at your first settlement, and it always starts looking this way and then it looks right at you. And then every time you advance the conversation, it resets and then looks right at you. And it's so silly looking. And like, it's just like the ugliest computer graphic characters that just keep on doing the head turn from like like Jesse, like on Sunday Night Football sometimes when like they
Yes.
show their stats and their head rises
Yeah,
up.
those are so weird.
Yeah. Every time you're talking to somebody, they just keep on looking at you. It's like this is
I like
from
to
the
imagine that it's trying to portray like the character just assumes every sentence is the last sentence. Like,
Right.
oh, did you come to port? Okay. I've brought your cargo. God damn it, you're still talking?
Right. Or just everybody in these old settlements has severe ADD. Hey, focus, man. I'm bearing spices, motherfucker.
I've brought your cargo, but there's a butterfly.
Look at where we live, man. This is gorgeous.
I'm just not realizing, like, we never really all like looked directly into the camera during the show, and when John, you were looking directly at the camera, it was very unsettling. I'd like to
Yeah, I
request
know,
that we all do that the rest of the show.
It's so tough to talk to camera instead of look at you guys on the screen.
Yeah,
Like,
I want to
it's just-
see your reactions, and I just have to look and like hope for the best. It's very
Right.
very weird.
no, yeah, I don't like it, man. It's
I mean, they always teach you don't look directly into the camera.
who is they? They haven't taught me anything. But yeah, so the game is it's just a kind of, I don't know, like old school 2000s ish exploration and trading, and kind of, I guess you could call it an RPG. Like you can kind of do what you want, and it's kind of open ended. As a guy that likes history, geography, pirates, it's an appealing game for me. And there are ship battles. It's not particularly great ship battles. Like whenever you get into a battle, it's like you have to kind of be. It's done with mouse and keyboard, obviously, and you're having to navigate your ship and move it around the other ship, and then like click the other ship to target it, and then you fire all your cannons, and you can improve your cannon stat by obviously doing other stuff. And so the better your cannon stats, the less scattered your shots are, so the more quickly you can actually beat the other ships. It's like interesting little battles, not particularly great. But yeah, it's a cool little game. It's gotten a few sequels. It had a Port Royale 2 in 2004, so almost like immediately they, I guess, came up with a couple of improvements. Then they got bought out, and a new game came out in 2012, and then another one in 2020. And I thought it was really funny because I'm like, well, logically, the progression of this game is like the first game takes place in the Caribbean, and then the next games take place, in the rest of the world, new maps, new lands. No, all of the games take place in the Caribbean. It's essentially the same game over and over again with like just some improvements over time, but it's still just, hey, you're still trading in Cuba and Dominican Republic and the little islands between there and South America. You got to stop at fucking Grand Cayman and shit. It's like, wow, I'm surprised they put out 4 different versions of this, like just to get people to keep on doing this same exact setting. I'm trying to think of any game that presumes to give you the exact same setting across all sequels. Like
Madden?
Well, thank you, Johnny. That is it. All sports games. Yeah, they all take place on that same football field.
Just one field.
Yeah.
That does seem like a missed opportunity. Like, I would have loved to go explore like Oceania or like advance to 1903 and go to Japan. Like,
Or the
there were
Silver
places they could
Dome.
have gone.
Yeah.
Yes, pirate ships in the
Cowboy
Silver
Stadium.
Dome.
Jacksonville feels like a good spot for an expansion quest. Maybe Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Duh.
Miami seems logical. Maybe you go all the way up to New England for
No.
patriotic trading.
No.
I think there's somebody, probably some pirates in Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
No, they play baseball.
Right,
Wisconsin?
different kind of pirates. Yeah, Wisconsin for those German pirates. Yeah, there's a lot of potential in this, and they just kept on doing the fucking Caribbean. I think it's pretty great. I don't know. It kind of cracks me up. Like, oh, cool. Especially since the second sequel came out like 2 years after. It's like, oh, cool. Port Royale 2. I enjoyed that slightly educational PC game. I wonder where I'm going on this one. Oh, it's still here. Same place. Okay, well, I guess I'll wait for a sequel. 10 years later, Port Royale 3 comes, and you're still trading in the Caribbean. This is seems like it almost it is like the pirate version of Madden. They just kind of improved the graphics, changed the gameplay mechanics. There's some new things to trade for. Whereas Madden, there's some improved graphics, new game mechanics, some new players to trade for. Really, Port Royale. It took from the Madden formula a lot. They didn't get to yearly. That's the thing. They waited a long time in between entries. So imagine going from playing Madden 2002 to Madden 2012, and
That's typically how I do it.
That's the thing. Yeah, I really buy sports games very seldom. So it's like, yeah, okay, I'll do FIFA World Cup 2006 and then FIFA 11. And then I'll play FIFA at someone's house if I ever want to play it again, but I won't buy it. So maybe that's how I need to be with Port Royale. I need to buy one every 8 or 10 years because, I like pirates.
Right when they release a new one.
Exactly. We're coming up, man. It's been 3 years, 5 more years or so. Another, it's going to be time for Port Royale 5. Fucking, maybe Port Royale 5 on the PS5. And it's set in the far off lands of the Caribbean, the exact same place. I'd love to see it. Doesn't change time periods, doesn't change settings. Somehow they're calling these sequels. Sounds good. But yeah, it's cool, man. I like sailing ships, islands, tropical climates. I like Florida. Okay. Like if it turns out that you can't even go to Florida in this game, I wouldn't be too heartbroken. The Caribbean's cool enough. I don't need Florida. Good games, fun, and it's got pirate tunes, and the music's all got things like seagulls cawing in the background. So it's fun. It puts you in a mood. So, Johnny, I'd say it's time to move on to the next game.
Game 2.
Right, so when booting this game up, initially there are only I can't look at it, God. When booting this game up, initially there are only 2 voices that announce the publisher. After a certain point in the story, there are 4 voices. All right, gentlemen, who has their answers written down?
Oh, I love this game.
Johnny, no fair peeking. All right, so Johnny says Mario and Luigi. We'll have to check with the judges. Jesse says Super French and Indian War. Sadly incorrect. John Harrington has the correct answer. Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time. Johnny, you didn't get a subtitle, so only John gets a point.
Yeah, no, I can't name a single Mario Luigi game.
I mean, like, props on getting the series, but every single one has a subtitle, so you kind of fucked up there. So yeah, this is Mario. I'm sorry, go ahead, Johnny.
I was going to say, tell us about the game.
So yeah, this is I'm just God. So this is Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. This is the second game in the series. It's the first one on the DS. And I want to start off by saying this is a very good game. Compared to the rest of the series, I think this is probably the weakest one. Like, overall, it's a good game, but like next to the other Mario and Luigi games, yeah, this game's not all that great. It is. No, I'm gonna have to keep my hand up and cover. Basically, the plot of this game is there are weird mushroom-like aliens called Troobs who invade the Mushroom Kingdom in the past, and so Mario and Luigi use a time machine to venture into the past Mushroom Kingdom, and they team up with Baby Mario and Baby Luigi to fight off these aliens. It sounds cool, like it's a cool premise, but the aliens invading in the past doesn't like affect the present at all. And the reason that Mario and Luigi have a time machine from Professor Egad is just kind of because they do. Like, it's not really connected. It's very weird. But you do get to explore like Peach's castle. Because in the first game, in Superstar Saga, pretty much the whole thing was in the neighboring Bean Kingdom. So it was like a whole new area. And this one, you actually get to go to like Star Road, Peach's castle, Bowser's castle. But they kind of like had a missed opportunity because it is in the past. You could have seen like stuff under construction. And they don't really do that. It's just, you're in the Mushroom Kingdom. It still looks like
it's just the past.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing to. Yeah, basically, it's just like, oh, Peach is a baby. And that's about it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. The game still looks good. It still has an awesome soundtrack. It still has the super fun battle system from, Superstar Saga. It doesn't quite live up to its potential. It's a very linear game. There's not a lot of exploration. And one thing that I really disliked about this game is the story. The idea of like aliens invading and time travel is really cool, but Mario and Luigi have that very classic Mario and Luigi series thing where they just speak like random pseudo-Italian gibberish. And then with the Shroobs, because they're aliens, they don't speak in English. They have like this weird alien language. So there'll be a cutscene where Mario and Luigi and Baby Mario and Baby Luigi run into these alien monsters and everything. They bump in and Mario's like, "Hello, Algarande, Barcarionde, Corbadande." And then a speech bubble comes up from the Shroob and it's just unintelligible gibberish. And like, this is an RPG. I'm supposed to follow the story. What the fuck is happening right now?
I mean, it's somewhat realistic. Like, it's not like aliens are just going to show up and start speaking boopity-beppe Italian. Yeah. Do you eventually understand what they're saying? Is there eventually somebody to translate or figure out what's going on? Or is it just that the entire game? Gibberish versus gibberish the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, God. Okay, never mind. Fuck that.
Awesome.
I thought you were going to say you have a problem with going back into the past and teaming up with a baby version of yourself, because that's also alarming. Like, I don't really want to have an adventure with a baby at all. Certainly not a baby of myself.
It's not the worst idea, honestly, because if you think about it, do you remember that movie Baby Geniuses, where it turns out that all babies have all the knowledge of the universe until they turn about 2 or 3, and then as they start to speak English, they lose it. So if you went back in time and found your baby self, according to Baby Geniuses, that's not a bad idea. You just don't know how to talk to them. But they actually know all the secrets of the world or universe.
You are the only one who would bring up Baby Geniuses. Jesus Christ.
What the fuck, man? Do I need to look up some fucking obscure reference for you guys' segments? I mean,
Okay,
fucking David's bringing up Escape Velocity. John's doing Baby Geniuses.
It's like Boss Baby. That's basically the same plot.
I don't like that either. Just saying. Babies.
John hates babies.
Yeah. I'm glad I never was one.
Wait. How did you skip being a baby exactly? No explanation.
No explanation. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to start off by saying it's a good game because it is. The combat's fun. It still has the classic like Mario and Luigi charm to it. It's just there's a lot of stuff kind of holding it back, and like on its own merits, it's like 7 out of 10, good game. I recommend it. I would recommend playing probably any other Mario and Luigi game first. Like, it's just not the best Mario and Luigi game.
Even the one
Superstar Saga is better. Bowser's Inside Story is better. I think Paper Jam is better.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. The one full of stickers or whatever.
No, that's something else.
Oh.
Yeah, there's Paper Mario Sticker Star, and then there's Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
Yeah, Paper
Right.
Jam is good. Sticker Star is very mid.
I heard Paper Jam was mid.
No.
You know, a lot of people said it was mid, but I think they were just mad that it wasn't a Paper Mario game. It was a Mario and Luigi game with Paper Mario in it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, Paper Jam, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Paper Jam's cool.
Yeah, I think this game had a lot of potential and they didn't capitalize on it. And it's a shame because time traveling Mario Brothers, I can't think of any game where that could possibly turn out bad.
Mhm.
Wasn't that like the plot of Mario is missing?
No, you're thinking of Mario's Time Machine, which is a
Okay.
different game. But yeah, Mario has to travel through
I
time
can't
and
think
collect
of any
artifacts.
game where it would be bad.
Yeah. Just a lot of potential not capitalized upon. I can't think of any better way to describe all babies.
Oops, all babies.
Hashtag not all babies.
I'm just saying, we all have so much potential as babies. And then,
Yeah.
flash forward 30 some odd years and here we are making this podcast instead. Johnny, we were once geniuses, were we not?
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
basically the plot of Baby Geniuses. The movie ends.
I didn't
and
ask.
they're all making podcasts.
Yep. Christopher Lloyd is just shaking
Dom
his head.
DeLuise in that?
Disappointment. And, all the babies making their podcasts now. Pathetic. Yeah. Well, anyway. No, I mean, I like the idea of a time traveling Mario game, but like David said, if there's not like gags involving the scenery being prior time, then like what are we doing here? It's 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 a little low effort. Like I've lived in the same town for a long time, and yeah, one thing that's different, I used to be a baby, now I'm an adult, but also a number of things have changed about this city. Like that's kind of like the one constant about like most places that people live. Things change over time. You come back to a place you haven't been in a long time, you go, wow, damn, I don't recognize this place. This is nuts. That should be the whole point of fucking Paper Mario traveling through time. Like, or not Paper Mario, fucking Mario and Luigi. Like, oh man. I don't remember what the Mushroom Kingdom used to look like. Whoa. And then they go back and all the mushrooms are shorter. Like, that's all you need.
I would love so much if there was a Mario and Luigi game where they're exploring the future of the Mushroom Kingdom and they're like, God, wasn't there a Hardee's here? They tore that down? Fuck.
Man, I could swear, wasn't this the Episcopal Church? Oh God, now it's just like a nail salon? This is weird. Huh.
This used to all be mushroom farmland.
Yeah.
As far as the eye can see.
It's just be platforms as far as the eye can see.
Old man Peabody raising platforms.
The Twin Platforms Mall. And then they travel back in time and it becomes the one platform mall.
Hey, you ran over my platform.
You boarded my platform. Old man Smash Brothers. Old man Master Hand was just boarding those platforms.
You platform forming son of a bitch.
See, you're sitting here trying to cast Old Man Peabody with Master Hand, whereas I'm looking at it the other way, and I'm just imagining, oh, Mario, you've got to come back with me.
Who's playing him?
Luigi. Luigi's got to take Mario back to the future.
Wait, is Luigi the old weird friend of Mario? Like it's not appropriate for them to really be hanging out and they don't explore that?
Mario, we gotta take you to the future. Your kids, they're assholes. We gotta fix it.
Oh man, Bowser is big.
I mean, I'm just thinking like, You've got Mario and Luigi. You've got Marty and Doc. Doc's taller. Mario, Marty. That makes sense. So, like, yeah, Doc Brown would be Luigi.
I'm just saying there's an established relationship between Mario and Luigi that's not, groomer and teenage boy relationship. It's, just saying it's a brotherly thing.
I don't feel comfortable going down this line of discussion.
Yeah, it's all
Hey.
good. So
Mario's dad, played by Crispin Glover. I brought your car back all the way to the house, and all you got from me is light fire flower.
So, does Mario travel back in
Oh,
time
God.
and his mom is Princess Peach, and then Bowser tries to do stuff before the dance? And who's Crispin Glover in this situation?
You're right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who's?
Yeah,
I guess Mario.
Toadsworth.
Toadsworth beats up Bowser and hooks up with Princess, and they everything's fine. Mario and Luigi no longer disappear from the old photo, and Mario invents rock and roll.
Oh, they danced at the
Now that I'm
Enchantment of the
thinking
Sea
about it, I
dance, and it's just the underwater music from Mario Brothers
Yeah,
1.
I mean, it really all makes sense. Really, Back to the Future is just a version of Mario and Luigi partners in time. Robert Zemeckis really should look into suing Nintendo.
Now I just
Wait.
want to see the original 1985 version of like drunk, depressed Princess Peach.
Probably still hot, just under some thick makeup. Good times. David, good pick. I forgot there was a time traveling Mario game. And what a timely pick. By the time this podcast comes out, most of us will probably have seen the Mario movie. And therefore, it's time for Jesse to spoil all of it. Jesse, you have 10 seconds on the clock. Go.
Game 3.
Who's got the trivia for this
All right.
one?
So, the main character is able to use firearms with either his left or right hand. According to the developers, it was discovered that at the time, soldiers in Vietnam were taught to shoot with both hands so they would never be at a disadvantage, and that is why the main character can do so.
All right.
Let's see some answers. All right, so Jesse says the War of Polish Succession advanced, sadly incorrect. John Harrington says Forrest Gump Ishin, sadly incorrect. Johnny and I both have the correct answer. I don't know if that counts for me. This is
What?
I don't
What
think
are you
it
doing,
does.
man? Present the fan request.
no, I'm just kidding. This is our fan request from Beast Pond, and Johnny is correct. This is Mafia 3.
Woo!
Jeez, complicating things.
I mean, I wasn't
Thank you,
sure if you
David.
still wanted to present the fan request or.
I think it's become clear over the course of the show. I did not. Thank you for helping me out in my time of need.
So yeah, this is Mafia 3. I did not play this game, but I really wanted to, mainly because John, you seem confused.
I'm just saying, you wanted to play this game. It doesn't strike me as a good game, even in the slightest.
Well, that's because this game is different. The first two Mafia games were set in the past, set in like the 1940s and based around the Italian mafioso in New York, or like not New York. Whereas this game was set in 1968, I believe, in not New Orleans. I think it's called New Bordeaux. And instead of being tied into like the Italian mafiosos, you are a biracial guy who comes back from like Vietnam and gets drafted in with a bunch of like black guys that are being picked on in the South. And so they decide to like strike back, fighting against the organized crime rings. So you're not actually in the mafia, you're fucking up mafias as like a black guy in the South. I was like, okay, that seems pretty cool.
That's a twist, because based on the title, you think it's going to be forget about it fucking Italian mafia game, not a game taking place in the segregated South in which you're fighting the mafia. I like that. I hope they got some people with that bait and switch. Like, how many people do you think they tricked into playing the game thinking they were going to play a straight up Godfather type game, and then they're playing as fucking like a Southern black guy? Like, I really am intrigued by that design choice. I think it's great. What a thing to do.
And I was wondering, because I was like, okay, because the game came out in I closed my tab.
2016.
Yeah. So I was wondering, I was like, are they gonna like, okay, it's set in the 60s in the South with a black guy. They're not like gonna try to make players understand and like sympathize with everything going on. And then I was watching like a playthrough of it, and like one of the first cutscenes has some guy yelling about "you darn coloreds." I was like, oh no, they're going there. Good for them.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, he comes back from Vietnam, and there's a lot of shit about that, about like the things he did in war and like the tragedies in there. Like every time your health gets low, the screen kind of turns black and white, and you hear a helicopter noise because it's giving him like, as he's getting damaged, it gives him like Vietnam flashbacks. I was like, oh fuck,
that's kind of cool. I mean, kind of brutal, and
it's
but cool.
It seemed like a really different take on like an open world assassinate game, and I was really intrigued by it. Obviously, this did not come out for Wii or Wii U, so I did not play this.
Oh yeah, true. That it's 2016 thing. So yeah, man, David, you haven't had a PlayStation since back in the PlayStation 2 era, huh?
Correct.
Wow.
What are they up to now? PlayStation 3?
I've lost track, man. They were doing 3. I think a few years ago they put out a 4, and then they started doing iterations on the 4, and that's when I cashed in my chips, and I haven't turned on my PlayStation 4 in a while, because I'm just some fucking bitch that never upgraded to a PlayStation 4 Plus, and I felt like time was leaving me behind, so I got out of the PlayStation game. I'm a meager Switch gamer now, and I don't think
that's why
free.
And that's why like I bought an Xbox 360. I enjoyed it, but I haven't gotten another Xbox system because apparently they haven't released another one. They had the Xbox, and then they released the Xbox 360, and then I saw like the Xbox One. I was like, are they just re-releasing the original? I'm not buying that. That's dumb.
I can't believe they would just put out the original Xbox again after all these years. That's a ballsy move. And, if anything else came out after that, it might have been some kind of Wi-Fi router, like an air purifier. It certainly wasn't a video game console. And it's, probably shouldn't buy it. Confusingly named. Yeah. Too confusingly named. Maybe there's
things
a fancy
that aren't.
don't blow vape juice into it, but it's probably not a video game console.
Things that aren't confusing are how
Racial
awesome it is
politics.
to how awesome it is to be a guy just like fucking up the mafia. Like, yeah, this game looked really cool.
And so this is not, as you said, this is not Nolans. This takes place in some fake southern town. Is that how they explain that there's a large Italian mafia presence there for you to fuck up? Is it like, is there a mafia in New Orleans that I'm not aware of? I'm a Florida guy. I don't keep up with all the goings on over there in the bayou. But I don't recall them having a large organized crime syndicate. But maybe I'm mistaken.
I feel like every major city has some kind of organized crime racket. Like New York has a lot of Italians. Chicago also has a lot of Italians, but there was a very prominent Jewish mafia, actually. I feel like New Orleans did have some kind of organized crime. Whether it was specifically Italian-American, I don't know. It could have been French.
A quick Googling of New Orleans Mafia comes up with the New Orleans crime family or New Orleans Mafia, an Italian-American mafia crime family in New Orleans from about the 1860s through the 1960s. In the 1960s, they dwindled down to a paltry few men. So, wow.
Mainly because there was a black guy just fucking killing them.
Exactly. Yeah. It turns out, maybe their numbers dwindled because one fucking principal black man was just fucking killing all of them. Like, man, what a story to tell. Like, oh God, yeah, I kind of want to play it now too, man. When you again, if you title the game Mafia, I just assume you're playing as the Mafia. Like, it's How many games are based on the thing that you fuck up? Like, how many games are titled after the thing that you fucking kill in the game?
Is Jay Moore in this game?
Thank you. It is much like Metroid. And no, thank God, this is not Jane Austen's Mafia, the game. Yeah. It'd be great if it was. If this was a tie-in sequel. What a fucking move if they made the Mafia movie, the fucking spoof movie in 1997. And then years later released a tie-in video game and called it not Mafia 2, but Mafia 3.
That'll get them.
And then it's not really about the Mafia. It's about a black guy killing the Mafia. Like, bold move.
Although, honestly, that does seem like something they would do is like release a sequel and call it 3 and just make everybody wonder what the hell happened to Mafia 2.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, they go fucking 18 years without a sequel, and then all of a sudden it's a video game, and it's you're not playing as the Italians, you're playing as a black guy killing the Italians. And of course you run into like a guy that sounds somewhat like Christopher Walken in the game. Trying to think of the other impressions that Jay Moore would do for fucking
How's that sound, Johnny?
What?
Pay attention, man.
How's what sound? Oh, the game? I thought maybe you made like a sound effect or something. I didn't hear it.
No, we wanted to hear your impression of Jay Moore doing an impression of
okay?
Christopher Walken.
What's that sound like? Okay, so to me that sounds like. Guys, it's always
just
the same.
Just do a Walken.
All right,
do a Cajun Christopher Walken.
Cajun Christopher Walken
saying, you got balls, kid, to stand up to the Italian American mafia down here and not real Nolans.
All right, okay, here we go. You got balls, kid. Stand up to the Italian mafia down here in Nolans. Walk.
Hey.
We got there.
He was pretty much there. Yeah.
Every time we ask Johnny to do a voice or an impression or something, I know it's coming, and it still makes me laugh every damn time.
Yeah, but
it's a solid bit.
No notes. Fucking, you got it, man. We could make this game, fellas. we could redo Mafia 3 and make it a spoof movie instead of a fucking racial politics open world game. We could set it in real New Orleans this time. I'm gonna call my buddies over there in New Orleans. I'm sure they can license out the likeness of the city for us. Jesse, you call Jay Moore, and David,
cousin.
you get drawing. It'll be good. Johnny, you're on voices. So
2 mice fell into a bucket of cream. The first mouse gave up and he drowned. But the second mouse, he swam and swam and swam as hard as he could, and eventually that cream turned into butter. I am that second mouse.
I was waiting for it to get Cajun, man. They churned that.
Who dat?
That mouse, he churned that butter into muffalata.
into a gumbo.
To a nice roux.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow.
I am
David,
that second beignet.
Oh God.
I would actually love it so much if there was just like, oh yeah, you have to go to like King Cajun of the crime family, and it's just Christopher Walken refusing to do a Cajun accent. Just like, yeah, I found him on the bayou. He was there.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I'm for that. Fucking Walken would do it, man. He's such a fucking ace.
We could probably get him on the show.
Yeah, we probably could, man. He's not busy.
I'll
He
tweet him.
loves podcasts.
And video game music.
Yeah. God.
Arpeggios are my favorite sound.
Yeah.
They go.
I mean, I'm confused where you guys are sitting here talking about we should get Walken for the show. Has he not been here this whole time?
He's already here. Oh man. God. It's gonna be good. Christopher Walken gonna be a regular on the show from here on out. David, thank the requester, and let's continue on.
This came from Discord from Beast Pond. So thank you, Beast Pond, for the request.
Yes. Excellent request. And thank you, David, again for handling that request.
Game 4.
shit. My bad.
Oh, I mean, we don't need
Fuck you on
if you
trivia.
don't want. So this game intentionally features graphics and textures that mimic 3D from around the turn of the millennium. However, the game uses modern day shaders, which make the game look indistinguishable compared to some modern games at first glance. Bonus trivia. Sometimes when you're sailing and it's storming out, you can see Thor flying in the sky, causing the lightning. All right. Writing down those answers.
All right.
Let's see. Johnny says, Catch Me If You Can, the game. That's incorrect. John says Old School RuneScape. That's incorrect. And David says God of War Ragnarok, which is incorrect.
Oh, dang it. There it goes.
This is Valheim, which I believe came out in 2019-ish. Well, that's when the early what do you call it on Steam? It's like a game preview.
Early access.
Early access, yeah, that's when the early access started. And that's actually when I had started playing it, but it recently popped up on Game Pass, and so I was like, I should revisit this game. So I've been playing it again, and it's a pretty freaking cool game. It's a survival-y type game where you're just this like Viking dude, and you just wake up in this forest. This crow is like, yo, you need to build some shelter because it's going to get fucking cold and things are going to try to eat you. But then once you're ready, you can fight this deer god. It's like, oh, okay. And so like you go around and like,
that sounds cool, but
yeah.
Must
Well,
I?
if you want to make better stuff, you're gonna have to, because at first you're just using like branches and rocks, and then you can put that together to make like an axe, and then you can start like building like a house and whatnot, and you're fighting like these little like, God, what are they called? They look like kind of like goblin-y creatures, but they have like the turtle shell looking thing, and they're like the like what? No, they're not
Kappas?
No, that it's definitely not a kappa. This is more of
Okay.
a Norse thing. So those are pretty easy. What is it?
Cockatrice?
No, I think that's Greek.
I don't think they have shells.
Yeah. It might be like a backpack looking thing. I don't know. It's a weird looking troll looking man. It's not a troll because there are trolls, and trolls are fucking like 15 feet tall and throw trees at you. And
Oh, cool. I like that.
so that's a bad time. So like you it's a lot of exploring in this game, which is fun. There's like different biomes in which different creatures and stuff dwell. Like once you start getting into the thicker like black forest, that's where the trolls hang out, and they like to throw trees at you and chase you. They'll pick you up and throw you. If you foolishly try to hide in a shelter you built, they will smash your shelter and you'll die.
Oh, cool.
Because they're fucking troll. I was like, aha, you can't get me here, troll. And then
I built a house.
The screen just turned red and black. And then I spawned in another house that I built like further along and was like, oh, well, I guess he destroyed my house because I didn't spawn there. Great.
I mean, it makes sense. But we don't really consider that trolls are perfectly capable of destroying the building that we're in. But good on this game for not really giving you a safe haven. Like, if you're out in the woods surviving and you run inside your log hut to get away from something that can throw trees, it's like, well, wait a minute, what is this house made of?
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Oh God.
I just imagine Harvey Firestein at Independence Day, but he's on a log cabin. Oh crap!
Oh crap! Yeah, the trolls that shoot laser beams and blow up Los Angeles. It's crazy.
As per the classic myth.
Of course.
Yes. It's those freaking trolls with their freaking laser beams. Yeah, I'm doing Austin Powers references. It's 2023.
I mean, we mentioned Mafia today, so.
You did.
I was going to say, it's like we also did Baby Geniuses and Escape Velocity. So sure, why the fuck not?
That was me hanging the lampshade on my horrendous reference for the show. Oh God.
Do I make you horny, baby?
What? Is that your fucking Austin Powers impression?
Yeah.
That was worse than your Christopher Walken.
That's your
I
lowest.
Thought that was Walken as Austin Powers.
Oh God, that was your Scottish Austin Powers impression. Do I make you horny, baby?
Ah.
Yeah. Tell me, Mrs. Kensington. I'm not going to continue.
You horny, baby. Are you Randy?
So Valheim.
Anyway, so like, it's pretty cool. Like the building stuff, like all my places look kind of janky, but it's more of like a situation where it's just like I just need quick shelter because like what I was doing is mainly like exploring as I go, and then when I find a pretty cool looking area, I'll set down a workbench and get to making some stuff, and then once I run out of like resources, and I'll go on to the next area and whatnot. But like you eat food to increase your hit points, so like you can hunt like deer and whatnot, pigs, and eventually you can go fishing. Let's see, there's skeletons in the game that they're tricky to kill. God, there was a thing I wanted. Like I said, there's sailing. That's pretty fun. You get your little boat made and you're sailing and it's like storming and stuff. Like the weather looks good. Like the trivia was saying how it looks like the best PlayStation 1 game you've ever seen, if that makes sense. Like, and better. Like it's like, how like Shovel Knight and stuff were doing the like 16-bit type things. I think we finally, people were like, we should do the retro, but with PlayStation graphics. And we've seen a few of those type of games, and I think this is one of them. Let's see.
I'm definitely in favor of those.
I was looking at the images of this. It doesn't look that old schooly. I mean,
Well, that's because of the shading and stuff.
Oh, okay, there it is. I was like, wait, what? But okay, it's all shading that
Yeah.
makes it. But it's just okay. Gotcha. Sorry, took me a second to process what the fuck you were talking about. 'Cause these images don't look as crazy as a PlayStation 1 game at all. Like, am I misremembering PlayStation 1 era games? Pretty sure they look really shitty and blocky, and this looks modernish.
They got pretty good at the end.
At least like Fortnite level on these graphics.
This is what the screenshots and ads for PS1 games looked like, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
From the
exactly. Yeah, this is how they
cutscenes.
tried to convince you to play a PS1 game. It's like, wow, this is like Final Fantasy 9 cutscene level, at least.
But my favorite part of Valheim is cutting down trees, because this game has some of the goofiest tree physics. Like, and really, they're not that goofy. Like, they don't just like go flying everywhere, but like they definitely, like, you're chopping, and then it does the little wedge thing, and the tree falls over, and so that can do a few things that are interesting. One, if you're standing in the wrong place, it could just fall on you and kill you, which that's no fun. You can, if you're sneaky enough, you could potentially drop a tree on enemies and or critters that you wish to eat later. So it's a kind of way to like just take out some woodland creatures or
No,
whatever.
how can you possibly sneakily chop down a tree?
Well, if it was a big enough tree and you're far away, and maybe it can be done. It's tricky, but it can be done. Or
Wait.
like if you do it near a hill, right? And so the tree falls and then rolls down the hill,
Okay,
and
yes.
then you could like take out some boars or something.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess the question is, like, if you're trying to sneak around and take out some enemies, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound?
I guess not.
I mean, that's the only way I can
Yeah.
think of that you could possibly drop a tree on an enemy without them realizing well beforehand what's happening. Like,
I don't
just
think
picture
the
this
tree
poor
makes a sound.
woodland creature just not noticing. Chop, 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 chop. It just
Well, maybe they're deaf.
maybe all the creatures in the game are deaf.
Well, they're definitely not, because I've snuck up on stuff and it takes off. So-
Okay, well,
If a tree falls in the woods and everyone nearby is deaf, does it make a sound?
Johnny, that's the most ablest thing you've ever asked. Jesus Christ.
Episode title.
Yeah.
Or
Ablest, goofiest tree physics.
Or
Ugh.
if it can fall onto like another tree, and sometimes when it does that, it does this weird, like,
Domino thing.
I feel like it's almost a glitch, but the people were like, "Hey, that looks funny. Let's keep that." And so
You,
it'll like,
domino a whole forest down. Just
it'll land on a tree, and then it'll do this like weird like jiggly thing, like it's like clipping through the tree. But every time it does that, it's doing damage to the tree. So then the tree will fall, or that log will just split into two logs. And if you're standing too close, it might fall on you. This is bad. You just all of a sudden a bunch of trees just start falling, and you're like, "Oh no, I hit the wrong tree."
That's what you get, man. That's the dangers of deforestation.
Yep.
Chop down one tree, might start an exponential explosion of split logs.
Fucking alpine avalanche here.
Yeah.
Mhm. Whole forest just explodes on top of you. You're right, Jesse. This game sounds crazy. These
It's
tree physics are goofy.
yeah, it's fun. The trees are really make it just a delight to play. Like the rest of the game is fun, like surviving and stuff. And I feel like it's very challenging, but it's not like it does some things that are make it doesn't penalize you as bad as like a game like this. Like if you die, obviously you lose all your items and you have to try to get them back. But like to like rebuild what you had, there's typically like rocks and sticks laying around on the ground already that you can just pick up and build an axe real quick, and then you're pretty much back in it. because then you can chop trees down again, and it's really just a Viking lumberjack simulator, if you ask me. Like, cutting down trees, running from trolls, cutting down more trees, cooking some deer meat on next to an open fire, sleeping. I always like when you get into your house. So the way you have to build your house is you have to build a fire next to it or inside. But if you build it inside and you don't have any ventilation, your place will fill up with smoke. So, which that's the fun thing to learn, because it's like,
it's true.
and you can try to sleep, but then you'll wake up and be like, you wake up not rested at all because your fucking house is filled with smoke, you idiot.
Yeah.
And so like, and there's some people, like, if you look in like community pages, that just go fucking all out with their little buildings and stuff, and you can really make some really cool fucking stuff if you try. But like, and I have been kind of, you know how when you play like a game and you kind of you role play as the character, not like, you're not like talking to the TV or anything, but you like do certain things that you think your character would do, like
you put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, like, so you can pull up your map and it shows you everywhere you've explored, and anywhere I've like built something, I've named it like a cool like Viking-ish type of name or something, just for funsies. And it's like, no one's going to see any of that but me. And it's like, I open the map and I'm like, oh yes, there's a troll smite, and that's the place where I was killed by a troll, and I decided to name it Troll Smite. So
it's an appropriate name.
It's one of those games where the stories are the things you do.
There's Smoke Dead.
Yes, I built the house with a fire in it. That seemed like a good idea.
There's a Squish Hut.
Yeah.
Pound Town. Let's see. Yeah, I've been all over this country.
There was a place with skeletons and a lot of mushrooms on the ground that I just called Skull Shroom.
All right. I'm into it.
So
might have called it the Bone Zone, but I'm into it.
Well, there's more than one skeleton area.
Okay, so numerous bone zones.
Yeah, there'll be.
Yeah.
Bone Zone, Skull Fuck, all the good ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big thick mushrooms in Bones Town.
Yep.
Jesse, this game sounds great.
It's really neat.
Yeah, no, sounds really, really interesting. I didn't know about it until just now, but yeah. Viking game in which you get to, I don't know, build your house and hang out in it. Yeah, it sounds good.
And one thing I read about that hasn't happened to me yet, but apparently sometimes Odin will just show up and like tell you that you're doing a good job. But when he does, it's supposed to be like the most unsettling and creepy thing in the game.
Sweet.
So that,
I can only imagine.
He's the Allfather.
So I'm looking forward to Odin just showing up and be like,
you're just like beating off in your smoke-filled house, and then Odin's there. Yeah. Jesse, you're doing perfect.
You're winning, son.
Oh, word. Thanks, man.
Oh god, they always said that he watches you when you masturbate. I didn't think they were being truthful.
Yeah, it's the old holiday song about Odin, not Santa.
Oh, don't worry, son. Just make sure to be careful. If you do it too much, it's gonna be Thor.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows you masturbate.
The song's about Odin now.
Yeah, he knows when you've been chopping wood, so ventilate your house, for goodness sake. That's the old Norse nursery rhyme.
Good old Odin claws.
Yeah. Great pick, Jesse.
Thank you.
Oh, God. Anything else?
No.
Good. Game 5.
God damn it. That's my bad.
Game 5.
guys. So the movie that this game was based on took a few liberties with the main character's relationship with another character. Let's call him John S. No, I'm sorry, that's too obvious. We'll call him J. Smith, adding a romantic element to their relationship. All right, who's got some answers?
Oh boy.
All right, so Jesse says World War I mustard gas simulator, which is incorrect. John says Pocahontas, and David says Disney's Pocahontas. I'm gonna give it to both, I guess. John says no. I'm giving it to David only. Because David actually got the full name of the game correct here. This is Disney's Pocahontas for the Sega Genesis, released a full 6 months after the movie came out.
I mean, that's not a bad turnaround.
Yeah.
See, I figured after I gave you shit for not having the subtitle for Mario and Luigi, I was like, I bet it's Disney's Pocahontas. I better put that in there.
So yeah, this is Disney's Pocahontas, based on the movie Pocahontas. And this is primarily like a puzzle platformer game. And it's actually kind of neat. So you switch around throughout the game between Pocahontas and Miko, sorry. The raccoon, in case you forgot who that is.
I did.
So like say the first level, the very first puzzle you run into is there's a cliff you can't quite reach, like you can't jump up and grab on and pull yourself up, it's too high. You can switch to Miko, climb a tree, and push a boulder off that will then crush Pocahontas and end the game. No, you push the boulder off, and Pocahontas can then jump on the boulder and use that to get up to the cliff. And throughout the game, you rescue various animals and earn their spirits. So one of the first ones you get is the deer spirit that allows you to run. There's an otter spirit that lets you dive and swim. There's a bird spirit that lets you fall from heights. And yeah, it's a pretty easy game. There's not really any real bosses or a lot of action to speak of. Just
except the white man.
What's that?
I said except the white man.
Yeah. No, and even then, like you save the white man at the end, like you do the whole save John Smith, from something that probably didn't actually happen, at the end there.
That's not great.
Yeah, but
especially if John Smith in that movie was Mel Gibson. Like, man, that's double bad.
Oh God,
let him go.
I forgot that was Mel Gibson in that movie. Oh,
yeah. Don't you remember that part where he calls Pocahontas sugar tits and then ugh, fuck. Yeah. Goes on to direct Passion of the Christ. Never actually gets blackballed from anything.
Thank God they replaced him for the sequel, though.
What?
They made a straight-to-video sequel to this movie.
They made a straight-to-video sequel where Pocahontas goes back to England because that's not a can of worms. And yeah, it's played by, I can't remember his name, but Mel Gibson's like younger brother plays John Smith.
Steve Gibson.
Right. Wow. I don't know or care that exists. Kind of.
It's really bad.
Forgot Pocahontas, man. That's a deep pull there, Johnny. Not the most popular Disney flick. Kind of forgot all about this.
Well, it won a couple Oscars, if I recall correctly. Best Original Score and Best Original Song.
Great.
It was in all fairness, it was towards the end of the Renaissance period, and like as the movies were kind of I wouldn't say going downhill, but getting less popular. Because there was there was Hercules, there was Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Without Googling anything, hands up. Tell me anything else that won an Oscar in 1996, since you're the fucking Oscar guy now.
Oh, God. Forrest Gump.
No.
Titanic.
No.
God, I really don't know who else won Oscars in 1996.
Okay, good. So, don't lord Pocahontas winning Oscars over me like you fucking know anything about the Oscars in 1996, Johnny. God. Yeah. Oh, it's a pretty popular movie. It won some Oscars. Oh, yeah? What else won fucking Oscars in 1996? Do tell.
I mean, to be
plenty of things that win Oscars aren't popular. Did you see Green Book?
God, 96 really was Mel Gibson's year, because I think like Braveheart won a couple Oscars. Is that not the right Oscars? Oh, I don't know.
You're all fucked up, John.
But
to be fair, and like emphasizing John's point, this is Disney in the 90s, like before DreamWorks and Pixar came along, like before Disney had competition. They were pretty much winning every Best Animated Feature Oscar.
The Best Animated Feature wasn't even an Oscar in the 90s.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Yeah, no, that's not what they won. It was all for the music.
And so I'm sorry, Johnny. Yes, Braveheart did win at the 1996 Oscars. It came out in 1995. But yeah, no, animated feature wasn't an Oscar until like 2000 or 2001, David.
No shit.
Yeah, they didn't have that for a while. But anyways, so Pocahontas kind of problematic. It's
what?
You don't fucking say.
Because they portray her in this movie as like, I don't know, she appears to be 16, 17, 18, but in real life Pocahontas is like 9, like, or 10.
No, she appears to be like 20.
Yeah. And
she appears to be a cartoon.
Yeah. In real life, Pocahontas, one, probably did not have a romantic relationship with John Smith. She married John Rolfe. And that was probably
the Muppet.
Yes, Rolf the Muppet.
Oh man, talk about a Muppets movie that needs to happen. Muppets Pocahontas.
God, can you imagine if the direct-to-video sequel was a Muppet Pocahontas film with her and Rolf just singing songs by piano in England?
Yeah, it's not appropriate for me to be dating you, baby. Yeah, I shouldn't be this problematic, should I? At least I'm less problematic than Mel Gibson. Let me play you a song.
What am I even doing in this movie?
Is this the right voice? I kind of don't think it is. Fuck.
But yeah, it's a pretty simple Sega Genesis game. Like I
And
said,
so it's not
No,
it's not like a Mario Paint kind of thing.
no, it's not that simple. Like there is a end. There's levels.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how many colors of the wind do you unlock by the end of the game?
Oh, 0. I
What?
don't think it's one of the animal powers that you get.
Well, no, it's how you paint.
So I do want to ask, because you said you play as Miko and Pocahontas. Is it like at the same time, or is it like you push a button and just send Miko out?
Oh, you push a button and switch between who you're playing as. Yeah.
It's like Donkey
okay.
Kong Country, a Pocahontas and a friendly raccoon.
Yeah, except that I wish it was like Donkey Kong Country, because Donkey Kong Country, you're together and you just swap, but you're at least together. This game, like, you run as Pocahontas, and Minko just stays behind, and you switch, and the camera pans all the way back, and you gotta wait for Miko to catch all the way back up.
That's not cool.
Yeah, that's a little obnoxious.
You play as what does she have, a hummingbird friend in that movie?
Flit.
Flit.
Oh, it has a name.
And no, I think Flit just appears on like the option screen as like your cursor.
Of course.
I don't think Flit is playable or does anything in the actual game.
Jeez, poor Flit. Relegated to being a cursor.
Justice for Flit.
Uh, so is there like combat in the game, or is it
No.
just platforming adventure stuff? You get animal powers. You don't have to fight who's the fat-titted white guy that doesn't see the good in the natives with the purple
Governor
turban head?
Ratcliffe.
Yes. The guy from Cheers, who's in all the
Norm?
Pixar movies.
David Ogden Steers?
No. I was going to say, it's like, when you said the guy from Cheers, I was like, no, David Ogden Steers was in MASH, but then I realized you're talking about John Ratzenberg.
Gotcha. And it's Genesis anyway, so you couldn't hear his voice. But you don't have to kill him?
No. But they do a pretty good job of bringing in Miko's sound effects. Like whenever you switch to the raccoon, it plays like kind of sounds. I'm like, awesome. Like, sweet, I'm in. I love this.
Genesis.
Okay. If that's what sells you on it, baby.
Honestly, I mean, my favorite episode of King of the Hill is the one where Bobby makes friends with the raccoon and talks to it. So like, this tracks.
It's a great episode. Yeah. Because fucking Dale goes nuts and goes wild. God, that's a good one. Is Dale Gribble in the game at all?
No, but at one point
no.
you do get to turn to somebody else and say, "Hey, have you smelled today's trash?"
Be pretty great if you killed Dale Gribble in the game and you got monkey style from him. Yeah. Or squirrel tactics.
No, obviously you killed Dale Gribble and get the power of pocket sand.
Well, yeah. I'm just thinking of that specific episode where he gets rabies from the raccoon.
You actually do get a squirrel animal spirit at one point in the game, so
Good.
pretty close.
Okay, good. Well, that's almost close enough, I tell you what.
Does it grant you pocket sand?
No, it just lets you climb trees. That's all it
So-
does.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, Johnny, what a pick. What a game that came out on the Sega Genesis in 1996. I'm impressed they were still making Sega Genesis games in 1996, Johnny. This is alarming for me to learn.
January 1st, 1996. And then the
That's,
Game Boy version came out in June 1996, a full year after the movie came out.
I mean, that happens. Takes a while, man. Game Boy games are complicated. Yeah, a lot of work.
Nah.
Fine. Cut me off. You're right. That was probably the problem with the Game Boy game, is they were like, listen, we got to get these colors of the wind in here. It's like, sir, I'm sorry, this is a Game Boy game. You can't have any colors in this. It's like, all right, what if we had a Game Boy with colors? Like, well, that won't exist for at least 2 more years. We need to publish the game now. The movie is out.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Best I can do
No.
is green and gray.
Yeah. Roll with it. I don't know. Ship it, I guess. Fuck.
Yeah, I try to be tricky because usually when I pick a licensed game like this, I pick songs that are not from the film. Every song in this game is from the film. Like
Johnny, it didn't sound like you tried to be tricky at all. You played Colors of the Wind after giving trivia with the name John Smith in it.
No, I said a John S, and then I said, no, it's too obvious, Jason.
I understood the joke, but yeah, I'm just saying it doesn't sound like you're really trying to be tricky at all.
But I mean, you had me at just around the river bend.
Yeah. Yeah, David knows all the weird code words of this game.
Code words.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got David just around the river bend. Johnny, anything else on Pocahontas?
No.
Favorite character? Is it the raccoon?
Oh, it's absolutely the raccoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't name anybody else, honestly.
Well, I mean, every time I've described somebody, David's been on point. So describe a character from the movie, and David will name them before we go to the calculating computer.
Okay, so this one character is a raccoon. What's their name?
Miko.
All right, good. This other character is played by Christian Bale.
What?
Oh God.
Newsies?
Is that the guy that Pocahontas actually married? I can't think of his name.
Grandmother Willow?
John Rolfe and no.
John Rolfe? Oh, okay.
No, Christian Bale plays Thomas, a loyal friend of John Smith, who is ordered by Ratcliffe to fire upon the natives, but defies the orders.
So he's not the Grandmother Willow.
No.
That would have been a real meaty role for him to dig into. Yeah. Can you imagine him method acting his way into being an old willow tree Native American woman? God, Christian Bale would have knocked it out of the park, baby.
God. So yeah, that's all I got on Pocahontas.
Calculating computer activated.
You hear that like balloons, rubbing sound? Like
Oops. Scoring complete. This game's winner is David Fleming.
That's right. He's done it, y'all. He's poked Pocahontas, and he's won Game That Tune, episode 330. It's David Fleming. Mr. Past. That's yeah, you've been given the title.
I don't know how
David.
I feel about that name.
Mr. Past. What a superhero name. Congratulations. God, sorry, I'm cracking myself up at how lame that is. Good job, David. You did it. So you get to pick a theme for our next episode. Good luck topping this one.
So I was thinking back to my game where you had Mario and Luigi, you had Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, you traveled between the present and the past. So I'm thinking games with twos. Maybe it's a sequel, maybe it's a co-op game, maybe there's two different worlds that you explore. Just something in the game has to be double.
Some number twos.
Number twos. That would have been the obvious joke that I decided to not go for, but thank you for still pulling it up.
No, David, I'd like to introduce you to my my number two man. His name, number two. That's right. We're still doing Austin Powers jokes. Yeah, David.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I was going to say, what did Mario say upon going back in time and meeting the baby version of himself and deciding to go on an adventure with him?
Oh, behave.
Yeah, babe.
He said, yeah, baby. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Good. Yes. Oh, yes. David, that's a cool theme. You know why? Because number two, it's a good number. It's a magic number. It's one of the best numbers. It implies togetherness, duality, and poop. So
All our favorite things.
yes, I like to do a cooperative poop together.
Oh, like the SNL toilet?
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
Yes. I got my brain had to process the ring was spinning for a second, but yes, now I remember the double.
Was it Kevin Nealon and Julia Sweeney that was in that sketch?
I couldn't.
Why?
I don't remember that far back.
I mean, okay, sorry.
Do you know Julia Sweeney by name or appearance?
Well, she was on SNL all the time. She played Pat, and
Okay, so was it Pat taking a crap next to Kevin
No,
Nealon?
it was
okay,
just-
then no, I don't know. Jesus.
she did a lot of sketches on SNL. My bad.
Also, she was in Beethoven's Third. Did you remember that movie?
Johnny, the theme is number 2s. No, I don't remember Beethoven's Third. Jeez. No, it's gonna be a good theme. I would say a shitty theme, but it's not, David. You've nailed it. It's gonna be a good one. So everybody drop your number 2s in the request area of Discord. And it'll be good. And thank you, everybody, so much for watching live with us. We're live every Wednesday night. We're here on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Search for Game That Tune. Thank you to everybody checking out podcast form. We're at GameThatTune.com or anywhere that you get your podcasts. We appreciate you guys listening in podcast form, rating, reviewing, subscribing, and all that stuff. We appreciate everybody checking out Patreon. Patreon.com/GameThatTune is the home for awesome exclusives. We've got Game That Tune gems. We've got mixtapes. We've got movie commentaries. We've got all kinds of fun stuff. And you help us keep the lights on at our 24/7 video game music live stream. That's radio.gamethattune.com. GTT.rocks is the home for awesome video game music on the internet. So support us at Patreon, and we'll keep giving you guys awesome stuff. We, of course, want to give a shout-out to our Patreon Absurd fans. I'm talking about Lance Revere, Damian Beckles, Bradford Stevens, Daniel Perky, Taylor Y, Sam L, Phoenix Tier 2121, Beast Pond, and The Kerrigan, a fantastic group of Patreon Absurd fans that we've got. Our request tonight came from who, David?
It came from Discord, Beast Pond in our Discord.
Yes, Patreon Absurd fan Beast Pond. Fantastic request made in Discord. Great place to make your request. Check out Discord. Check the show notes for the link. Or you can visit us at GameThatTune.club, our fantastic social media server that we're going to have to come up with new reasons to use after March Madness has ended. Congratulations, Persona 5. You won the March Madness. And yeah, I don't know. We'll do something else fun at GameThatTune.club at some point. But make a request there. We'd love to hear from you. And that is going to do it, guys, for the show. So, David, you've got the bonus tunes, and you need to drop it like it's hot. Drop them on us, man. Smear it all over us. Tell us what your bonus tunes are closing out tonight's show.
Closing out with one of my favorite songs from a game that ends in 2. It's Metroid Metal's cover of The Tunnel from Metroid 2 Return of Samus.
Hell yeah, it is. We love y'all. Peace out, everybody. Royale is copyright 2003, some German company. I forgot to write it down. Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time is copyright 2005, Nintendo of America Incorporated. Mafia 3 is copyright 2016, 2K Games. Valheim is copyright 2021, Coffee Stain Publishing. Disney's Pocahontas is copyright 1996, Disney Interactive.